The basement. The house Emily and Tom moved into with their 2-year-old son Jake seemed perfect. A brick cottage surrounded by tall pine trees stood at the edge of a quiet suburb. The neighbors were friendly. Sunlight poured gently through the windows, and even the creaking floorboards added to the charm. The house was old but well kept. The documents mentioned no renovations, no hidden issues. But there was something strange. In the corner of the kitchen, behind a thin layer of drywall, Tom found a sealed door. It was nowhere on the house plans or in the listing. In the second week after the move, the drywall gave way under his hand, revealing a wooden door lined with aged metal and rusted hinges. It felt out of place, like it led not to a basement but to another world. The old padlock on it was hollow inside, as if someone had wanted to keep it closed or keep something inside. Tom found himself staring at the door more often, until one night he heard something scratching behind him. He leaned in and heard breathing, slow, heavy. But when he turned on the light, there was nothing. He didn't tell Emily. Emily didn't even want to discuss the door. Too many strange things were happening. At night, the house smelled of damp earth, as though a breeze was coming up from the ground. Kitchen utensils moved on their own. And the most unsettling thing, Jake, barely speaking yet, pointed at the wall one night and whispered, "She's down there." Tom dismissed it as a child's imagination, but his voice was becoming less certain. He heard dragging footsteps when he was alone, and sometimes, especially around 3 a.m., faint giggles. By the third week, Emily began waking with scratches on her back. She blamed the cat, except they didn't have one. One morning, Tom found a tiny, dusty child's shoe on the bedroom floor, old, unfamiliar. He hid it in a drawer, but it vanished that same night. Eventually, they decided to open the door. The three of them descended together, clutching flashlights to their chests. The basement was larger than they expected. Damp stone walls, a cold floor, and dozens of shelves covered in thick dust. Upon them sat old, worn dolls, some missing eyes, others with cracked faces, and tiny items, baby shoes, empty bottles, rusted spoons, and a diary. Emily opened it. The pages were filled with childlike handwriting, but the content was disturbing. The entry spoke of a dark mother who lived beneath the floor, of children who went into the sand and never came back. The last line read, "Today is Emily's turn." At that moment, Jake disappeared. They ran around the basement, calling for him. The flashlights flickered. Laughter echoed from a corner, followed by crying. Tom found Jake sitting on the floor, stroking a doll and whispering, "She doesn't want you to leave, Mommy." The doll he held had disturbingly human-like eyes. They grabbed him and ran upstairs, but the door wouldn't open. A black liquid began seeping from the floor. Shadows crawled up the basement walls. One rose and formed the figure of a woman with a twisted face. Her eyes were empty, her mouth unnaturally wide. She whispered, "He's already mine, and you'll stay with me." The floor beneath them pulsed like it was breathing. They escaped only when Tom smashed through the boards above them. They emerged into the kitchen, where everything looked as if no one had entered the basement. Jake didn't speak. He never spoke again. They left that night. But a month later, the house was sold again. The new family had a daughter named Ellie. Her parents said she was acting strangely, talking to herself, laughing at night. On the third day, she told her mother, "Dark Mama said you're coming soon too." On the fourth night, the family vanished. The house sat empty until a real estate agent found fresh footprints in the basement and carved into the wall in ragged letters, "You're next." To this day, no one dares get close to that door, and no one hears the way it softly breathes at night. Almost no one.